South Africa, a country known for its breathtaking landscapes and rich culture, also holds one of the most complex economies in the world. Despite its history of colonialism and apartheid, South Africa has transformed into a regional economic powerhouse. Its journey to wealth is deeply tied to its vast natural resources, strategic location, and bold economic reforms. Today, South Africa stands as the wealthiest country in Africa, but how did it get there? And with growing inequality and political tensions, can it maintain its economic success? The country's wealth story begins with its abundance of natural resources. The country is blessed with some of the richest mineral deposits on the planet, from gold and diamonds to platinum and coal. During the late 19th century, the discovery of these minerals sparked a rush that attracted global investors and fueled industrialization. By the early 20th century, South Africa had become the largest gold producer in the world, establishing its place in the global economy. After apartheid ended in 1994, the newly democratic government faced the challenge of rebuilding a deeply divided nation. Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress, ANC, implemented bold economic reforms aimed at transitioning South Africa from an isolated, apartheid-era economy to an open and inclusive market-driven system. A key part of this transformation was South Africa's integration into the global economy. By joining institutions like the World Trade Organization and signing numerous trade agreements, the country was able to attract foreign investment, boost exports, and modernize its industries. This shift laid the foundation for South Africa's economic boom in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The country also developed a strong financial sector, with Johannesburg emerging as one of the largest financial hubs in Africa. Its stock exchange, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, JSE, is ranked among the top 20 in the world. This development was supported by a well-regulated banking system, transparent corporate governance, and a commitment to macroeconomic stability. Tourism also became a major contributor to South Africa's economy. With its unique wildlife, beautiful coastline, and vibrant cities, the country attracts millions of visitors each year. Events like the 2010 FIFA World Cup further cemented South Africa's status as a global tourism destination, injecting billions into its economy. But no wealth story is without its challenges. South Africa's progress has been shadowed by persistent problems such as inequality, unemployment, and political corruption. While the country's economy has grown, the benefits haven't been distributed equally. South Africa remains one of the most unequal societies in the world, with stark divides between rich and poor, largely along racial lines. Land reform has been a particularly contentious issue. The unequal distribution of land ownership, a legacy of apartheid, continues to be a source of social tension. In recent years, the government has explored various policies to address this, but balancing economic stability with social justice remains a challenge. Zuma's presidency, from 2009 to 2018, was mired in controversy, with allegations of widespread corruption, cronyism, and state capture, a term used to describe how private interests allegedly influence state decisions for personal gain. This period is seen as one of the most challenging in South Africa's post-apartheid era, as key state institutions were undermined and public trust eroded. One of the most damaging scandals was the involvement of the Gupta family, a wealthy business dynasty accused of wielding undue influence over government decisions and appointments. In 2018, after growing public pressure and internal dissent within the ruling African National Congress, ANC, Zuma was forced to resign. His successor, Cyril Ramaphosa, took office with a mandate to clean up governance, restore investor confidence, and reignite economic growth. Ramaphosa, a former businessman and union leader, has worked to distance himself from Zuma's legacy by launching an anti-corruption drive and initiating inquiries into state capture. One such inquiry, the Zondo Commission, has been central to uncovering the extent of corruption under Zuma's rule, and several high-profile figures have been implicated. Despite these efforts, Ramaphosa faces significant challenges. The ANC itself remains divided, with factions loyal to Zuma still holding considerable influence. Looking ahead, South Africa's ability to maintain and build on its wealth will depend on how effectively it can overcome these internal challenges while navigating global economic shifts. One of the most pressing issues is the country's rising youth unemployment, which hit record highs of over 60% in recent years. The high rate of joblessness among young people, particularly in urban areas, poses a risk not just to economic growth, but also to social stability. While the mining industry remains a key pillar of economic activity, it is no longer as dominant as it once was. Global demand for certain commodities fluctuates, and environmental concerns are pushing the world toward renewable energy sources, which could lessen reliance on traditional industries like coal. To remain competitive, South Africa must invest in emerging sectors like technology, renewable energy, and agriculture, which hold the potential to drive growth and create jobs in the future. Education and infrastructure investment are also crucial. South Africa's education system, while improving, still suffers from inequality, with many children in rural and disadvantaged areas lacking access to quality schools. Without significant reforms to boost skills training and access to higher education, it will be difficult for the country to foster a workforce ready for the demands of a globalized, technology-driven economy. Additionally, aging infrastructure, from energy grids to transportation networks, continues to constrain economic growth. Load shedding, or rolling blackouts due to electricity shortages, remains a persistent problem, slowing productivity and deterring new investment. Ramaphosa has pushed for an ambitious infrastructure program to modernize South Africa's roads, railways, ports, and energy supply. But for this to succeed, the government must balance fiscal discipline with the need for public investment. South Africa's debt levels have risen significantly, and maintaining economic stability while addressing these critical needs will require careful financial management. At the same time, South Africa faces the growing threat of climate change. The country's heavy reliance on coal for energy makes it one of the largest carbon emitters in Africa, putting it under pressure to transition to cleaner energy sources. Yet, such a transition could displace thousands of workers in the mining and energy sectors, creating further social and economic challenges. Ultimately, South Africa's story is one of immense wealth built on both opportunity and struggle. While the country has achieved remarkable economic success, it faces a delicate balancing act, preserving its rich legacy while ensuring that its wealth benefits all its citizens, not just a select few. The stark inequality that persists, coupled with political instability and global challenges, means that the road ahead will not be easy. The next chapter of South Africa's journey will depend on how well it can manage these competing forces, whether it can build a more inclusive economy, tackle corruption, and adapt to a changing global landscape. If it succeeds, South Africa could solidify its status as a leader not only in Africa but also on the world stage.